the one, the only, the esteemed, the highly educated, I got a couple of more things here, but I don't have a lot of time. It's Andy Gipson. Good morning, sir.
Well, good morning to you, Paul.
Astute attorney, et cetera, et cetera.
Thank you,
Man,
Paul.
what a Dixie National. That was heck of an exhibit.
Well, it really is. And we partner, of course, with Morgan Rodeo Company.
Mm-hmm.
Actually, that company has got some new managers involved, and they really wanted to take it to the next level. And we did that a little bit this year.
Yeah.
There's some really big plans for the future, and we're looking to partner with some more private sponsors to help take the Dixie National to the full potential that it can be. It's already the largest rodeo east of the Mississippi River, and I think it's going to only grow and grow as we look to the future. I'm excited about working with Harper Morgan and all of our private sponsors, which fund 100% of the rodeo, not one dime of state tax dollars. This is a full private event, but it generates hundreds of millions of dollars of state revenue and a great economic development for the good people of Mississippi.
Yeah. Let me say this, and just as a marketing kind of guy, I've been in this business a long time. When you vote on someone to be the agriculture commissioner, they better have a marketing skill. I mean, it's one of those things that you have to. You can be astute, a geek with a pen and everything else, but you got to be a marketing kind of guy.
Yeah.
And I think from day one when you decided to run for this, I said, bingo, here's a guy that could do this as far as having the intelligence to do the paperwork and know the laws, but also do the marketing. Well, and congratulations, you've done that.
Well, thank you. We really, the truth is we have doubled ticket revenues since 2018 for the Dixie National Rodeo. It also pays not only for the rodeo, all those events, but it pays for all the livestock shows, all the horse shows that are happening down there, cutting horse shows and so forth. So it's a signature event. It's a great event, and it's in the top 60 rodeos worldwide, and it's the only one east of the Mississippi River. And we're so glad they're in Mississippi, and I'm going to keep them here. I'm going to do everything I can to keep them here and keep it growing. I love to market and promote this great state.
Their home base is where, Andy?
They're actually, Harper Morgan Rodeo began in Meridian, Mississippi with Mr. Ralph Morgan and his son Johnny Ralph Morgan. Now they've got some managers that are involved that are really involved in nationwide rodeos, and they have offices in Texas and some presence in South Dakota, and working with Governor Christy Noem up there. And it's just a great rodeo.
Have you
company.
ever visited the location?
Yeah, sure.
Where they're training the bulls and everything else.
They have stock contractors. You should have seen the bucking bulls that they brought in this year.
Yeah.
And I mean, we had some of the best bucking stock I've ever seen. I had a lot of comments from people about just taking it to the next level. There was a laser show, kind of Vegas style laser show, and pyro that went off at the beginning, and always patriotic, and always we stand for our American flag and for the values that made this country great. And we open with prayer, and I love that about the rodeo.
All the reasons that you don't find a lot of liberals at a rodeo.
No,
there's so many different things.
No, Senator Cindy Hyde-Smith asked the crowd, "Do we have any Donald Trump fans?" And you should have heard the roof come off the Coliseum.
Yes. There were maybe a couple of Joe Biden fans, but they probably were in the restroom or something.
They didn't
taking a break. I'm not sure. All right, let's talk about this. As far as the numbers, how did we come out as far as the numbers are concerned?
Well, as I mentioned, we had a record revenue for ticket sales. Mm-hmm. We also had record sponsorships, private sponsorships. I want to give a big shout out to Southern Ag Credit, who has become our presenting title sponsor for the Dixie National. And their support of putting their dollars on this program, private dollars, have helped us take it to the next level. And we think next year can be even bigger. And we had so many great events.
Good.
We were packed out every night, just about.
The next thing, before we move on to other stuff, the next thing coming up at the trademark and the Coliseum.
Well, we're having, of course, basketball coming up very soon in the big house, and that we'll be looking forward to that.
Who's playing?
Well, I hadn't got that schedule right now, but it's all the high school basketball finals and so forth, semifinals are coming up soon. We had a big wildlife outdoor show inside the Trade Mart, and there's always a trade show. The Trade Mart has become really a key asset to the state of Mississippi, and it's rented just about every day for multiple events.
Yeah.
So, there's always something, and we're already planning for the state fair, and we want
I know you're never sitting on your laurels, but with the 2024 legislative session going on, anything before the legislature with bills that have a possibility of passing that you've asked for?
Well, we've not asked for anything, actually, except for the fact of the foreign purchase of farmland. I'm very concerned, deeply concerned about these foreigners. If you're concerned about open borders, you better be really concerned about them coming over here and buying up our food production capacity. And we submitted a report to the legislature, and I've seen a bill. I didn't get to see the bill before it was dropped or drafted, but I'm looking at it now and watching it carefully, and I'm sure that we'll be having some.
It's changing.
Input. Yeah, I'm sure.
And I don't think people understand that. Even in Mississippi, I had someone in the family. They've been farmers for ever and ever and ever. They had over 20,000 acres. The father passes away. The sons have been doing it. Yeah. And as of just several weeks ago, they've taken all of it, 20,000, gotten out of it, leased it. And the person who leases it is somewhere from out of state, has a couple of private jets and a corporation, and the family farms are gone.
The family farms are really drifting away. A lot of people the next generation has not stepped up, has not wanted to manage the farm, and so this is a risk. It is a risk for national security. It's a risk for our food supply security in the state of Mississippi, and I hope the legislature takes it as seriously as I do. I put into the record in that report that we submitted my thoughts about it, but, wars are fought about land control of land, and here is what's happening is these foreigners are coming in, swooping in here, buying up our land, and that's a backdoor way to win a war. And I'm concerned about China. I'm concerned about our enemies, but frankly, I'm concerned about any foreigner controlling our food production capacity in this state or in this country.
Are you also worried about this? I know talking with other people, you got to be careful where you go on that, because we do have some friendly folks that we trade back and forth with. But it seems to me as easy as looking at those the countries that are termed adversarial.
Yeah, we need to definitely focus on the adversarial countries. We put that in our report to the legislature. These are our enemies. But what we also have to be careful is that they're not partnering kind of behind the scenes with some of these other countries. And I don't know that anybody knows. USDA told me they don't really know who is having ultimate control. They can only peel back the layers so far. So I think that's going to be key. We got to get to the bottom of this. And the main thing is it's got to be an enforcement mechanism, something that has teeth in it that's enforceable, because we already have a law today, and it's never been enforced. So that's the issue that they've got to tackle. And
you're dealing with the Netherlands, and they're shipping it to Russia. You never know.
You never know. I mean,
you never know.
The Netherlands is the port of entry to all of Europe. I was there last April. I'll be traveling to India, the largest country in the world. And their international trade is a network that touches everybody. So we got to watch this, and I hope the legislature gets it right.
As far as we're concerned, it's very difficult to go rabbit hunting to have food plots and solar farms.
Solar farms
doesn't work.
Solar farms on a farm is a terrible idea. I mean, you transform our food production. Yeah. Look, if the world were the size of an apple, and you put your thumbprint on it, that is the maximum farmable land on planet Earth today, and it's not getting any bigger. And they're putting solar farms. So Bill Gates is buying it up and shutting it down, and the foreigners are coming in here buying it. And I'm telling you, food security, food supply is the next critical issue for the future of this state. And that's why we're going to build this genuine Mississippi market complex in Brandon, Mississippi.
I want to talk more about that one. But it is crazy to hear people like John Kerry and Al Gore and some of the leftists in the Biden administration saying some of the number one problems out there are farmers creating this global warming. It's just crazy to hear that.
The Europeanization of America. I was in the Netherlands last year. The farmers were being attacked, shut down. The government, the European Union is shutting farming down. We have regulators in Washington, D.C. that have the same mindset. They would love nothing better than to shut down agriculture, take away the tools to farm, and they're doing it every day behind the scenes through bureaucratic regulations. I'm aware of it. People need to know these folks have lost their mind. They think agriculture is the enemy, and agriculture is what keeps us fed and clothed and a roof over our head.
Kind of hard to explain to some of these people. They don't know how much fertilizer it takes to grow a tofu plant.
Fertilizer, weed control. I mean, you got farmers need every tool we can to maximize production, to keep our people fed and secure. And that's the most important.
Let's talk about this thing that you just mentioned a few seconds ago, as far as the new location.
Yeah.
We'll get to all of that coming up in a moment or two. Little Stevie Vaughn to take us out, and three doors to open us up. Back after FDIC, Andy Gipson, Commissioner of Agriculture and Commerce. This marketplace thing is a big deal. It's in Brandon, Mississippi.
It is.
What's the update on that?
Well, we were able to announce last Thursday that, in fact, we were acquiring from Rankin First Economic Development with their full blessing and with the support. And I want to thank the Rankin County Board of Supervisors and also the City of Brandon, Board President Steve Gaines, Mayor Butch Lee of the City of Brandon. We worked together a partnership here to acquire 153 acres of land that's going to become the Genuine Mississippi Market Complex. That is it's going to be a new kind of farmers market. This idea began with the farmers back during COVID-19, the supply chain interruptions that we had. They came to me and asked for solutions on what could we do. And so I've spent the last 3 years putting together kind of the key people of production of everything good about Mississippi, from our meat, poultry, to produce on the Gulf Coast and also here locally, dairy, family-owned dairies and catfish industry, the Mississippi peanut industry, pecans and blueberries, sweet potatoes, and I want to mention, again, the Gulf Coast production of our produce that is a powerhouse of production for not only Mississippi but the country. So we're going to partner with the private sector, and they're going to build on this complex, on this land, a complex that will be the Mississippi's first local food supply hub. It's the first local food supply destination where you can come and buy everything grown, raised, crafted, and made right here in Mississippi. We've been looking at this for some time. The official state brand of the state of Mississippi is Genuine Mississippi, and it's my job to promote our products. So we're going to have, if you can imagine, to start with, an old-fashioned town square, but very nice, where you can come and buy locally grown, raised, crafted, and made Mississippi meat, poultry, produce, and also beyond that, just the market, retail market, there will be actual storage facilities and distribution facilities so that we won't find ourselves in a situation like we had back in COVID-19. We'll be able to distribute this product to restaurants and grocery stores, local food, and prepare for the hard times.
Hang on now. Are we talking about one building under one roof, or a collection of different buildings?
We're talking about a collection of different buildings and facilities that includes retail, wholesale, food storage, food processing, and distribution.
153 acres? Is that what you said?
It's 153 acres, and we are we're starting with the first 10 acres, and we have a master plan that will be announced in March on those 10 acres, and the partners, private sector partners that are coming to get this done. And our role at the Department of Agriculture is twofold. One, to promote. We promote Genuine Mississippi products. By the way, you can go to genuinems.com and find all the local food in Mississippi you want to find. Grits, popcorn, everything great about Mississippi. But our other role is, of course, food safety. We are actually in charge of safe food handling and storage and so forth. So we'll be co-located there to make sure that it's done right. And when it's completed, over the next 3 or 4 years, we'll have a distribution hub that will actually collect food from all over the state, store it, and then have the capacity to distribute it, both in the good times and in the hard times. So we'll be prepared.
Is anybody else doing that, Andy?
No one else is doing this in the United States of America. This is the first of its type concept. And as food production is shifting away from California, I saw a presentation 2 months ago. California's food production is dropping. It used to be the powerhouse. In a matter of 10 years, the southeastern United States will be the food production powerhouse for America, and I want Mississippi to be the center of that powerhouse, and I want us to be leading the country in food safety, food supply, and in distribution. And
go ahead.
I also have a vision to do one of these in North Mississippi and also in South Mississippi. So we're actually talking to people about
some of my questions there was, would the South Mississippi people be able to use that as far as any seafood and things like that?
Absolutely. And we're in discussions with a Gulf Coast produce distributor right now that desperately wants to have a presence here in central Mississippi so they can serve also North Mississippi from here. And we are in talks with folks on the coast about developing a seafood-type complex for this.
Wow.
That could serve the same type of purpose, and also in North Mississippi for serving the special products that make the Delta and North Mississippi and the sweet potatoes of Northeast Mississippi very special.
Well, you mentioned supply chains, and if there's one thing that the supply chain helped out, and there wasn't many things that it helped out, was the importance of food to table. The farm to table, it enhanced that greatly.
It did.
And when you start talking about the Metro Jackson area, which is now over 600,000 people, there are a lot of restaurants, and some of the best. As a matter of fact, I think at one particular time, the Jackson metro area was rated per population one of the best as far as the assortment of different restaurants, chains, and locals. So there's a lot of restaurants there that now depend on that, farm to table.
Absolutely. Farm to table is a movement, and we want to capitalize on that movement for the people of Mississippi to support our farmers. This is going to help our farmers. It's going to help their production and their sales. It's also going to help that movement at the local restaurants and grocery stores where people do want to buy local, this fresh, local, and healthy food. The State Medical Association has an interest in being a part of this to help promote healthy eating as part of this complex.
Good point. Schools.
I mean, part of our illness problem is we eat bad, but also farm to school. We have a program for that. This is going to help us ramp that up to have fresh, healthy, local foods in our schools. And, I'm really excited about it. But
Is there anything on the Internet that shows a schematic of this, or drawings, or blueprint?
We will be rolling that out when we have the groundbreaking in March. And I will. All
right, tell me real quickly here, who are the people that need to at least call or be ready to call as far as is it beside the consumers? I'm talking about the people who may want to partake in this. Growers, farmers. Are there any chain stores or people like that? Or
farmers, producers? Obviously, we have local farmers that are going to be invited to be a part of this. We have 153 acres to work with here, so we have a lot of room, but we're going to be very strategic about it. But also, anyone who has a product in Mississippi, and you can look at a lot of those at our website, genuinems.com. All of our local grown, raised, crafted, and made products. I mentioned we have a lot of local companies that are already doing packaging of grits, of popcorn, of just sauces, everything local.
Would Amazon need to have a place there?
I would love to do a deal with Amazon to promote genuine Mississippi products. I hadn't gotten that done yet, but we're going to have that regardless of Amazon so that we can distribute into the food chain.
I guess I was asking, I understand the growers and everybody, but I was talking about who doing the bricks and mortar, who puts that up.
Well, that we are going to be, we have partnered with a local architect who's doing the design and also engineers, and they are going to be involved in laying this out. So, as I mentioned, we'll have a 10-acre tract to begin with. And after we announce this groundbreaking in March, there'll be an opportunity for interested people to email, to call, and we will make sure that if it fits with this concept, this idea, we would love to have them a footprint and a space there to build on. And it's going to be strategically. We call it the Strategic Agriculture Facilities Expansion Plan. I announced this at the Neshoba County Fair last year. Nobody knew what I was talking about, but it's the SAFE plan, Strategic Agriculture Facilities Expansion. And I said we need one in central Mississippi, we need one in North Mississippi, and we need one on the coast in South Mississippi. I agree with you. Yeah.
Doesn't affect the current established farmers markets at all, right?
It's going to help them. In fact, the farmers at the farmers markets will have an opportunity to be involved in this. Yeah.
It will not supplant my guy who sells sweet potatoes on 49.
It's going to absolutely help him. He'll get to sell more sweet potatoes. And the farmers in North Mississippi will sell more sweet potatoes. Yeah.
And peanuts, of course.
Peanuts. We got the Peanut King, and we're talking to them. And it's going to be great, and I think it's going to also become a destination. We want to build it as a destination hub for people to flock here to see literally a taste of Mississippi, all the great things that makes Mississippi
Are we
special.
doing any growing there at all? I mean, 153 acres is a lot of land.
It's a lot of land, and we will have capacity for research projects. I'm talking to the leaders at Mississippi State University about those types of issues and opportunities. Also, workforce development, workforce training for 4-H and FFA, and other youth who have an interest in agriculture, food supply, food handling. We have a desperate need there. I can't hire people right now to work for our department that in this industry because of the workforce, lack of workforce, interested workforce. We'll get to do that here in a way that's never been done before.
I got to tell you, that is the number one problem in America today. Nobody has anybody that wants to work. Yeah. And the people who are working are overworked. I mean, it's just... I was going to ask you in the last segment here, if you can hang on for a second, how you guys are acting or interacting with the situation at the border as far as agriculture and commerce is concerned, because it's a big story now, and it really does affect just about every single agency one way or the other, and certainly agriculture and commerce will do that.
Yeah.
With Andy Gipson, final segment goes with the Commissioner of Agriculture and Commerce. Thanks to Riley, just wanted to mention this real quick. We were talking about the number one place, of the 3 top children's museums. One of the other things to see. Number 1 was the Children's Museum in Indianapolis, of the 20 that were nominated. Number 2 was the Children's Museum of Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. And number 3 was the Children's Museum, Jackson, Mississippi. So there you go, and I thank you, Riley. All right. How does this figure in as far as where the border and all of this just reshaping America, and how does that figure into your agency as far as the Department of Agriculture?
Well, it has a huge impact on a lot of different fronts. Actually, the Department of Agriculture was created originally by the legislature to be over immigration as well as agriculture and commerce. That went away years ago. But the purpose of that was to try to make sure that we had the jobs in the right places for the state's largest industry of agriculture. These people who are flooding in across the border, many times we don't even know who they are or what their intention is, and they're immediately put on the state dole. I mean, the federal government's dole. And somebody told me they give them $1,200 a month. Maybe it's more than that. So they're already eating into our food supply as our country. We need to feed ourselves for sure before we look to feed the world. And on top of that, I think that there is a concern that there's illegal immigrants are taking jobs that belong to or should belong to, rightfully belong to people of the United States. And so there's a workforce impact there. And I do know that there are also impacts that are concerned. I'm deeply concerned about, for example, 20,000 Chinese nationals coming across the border. What are their intentions? Are they the ones coming in here buying up our farmland? Are they buying up our food production capacity? There's a lot of unanswered questions about that, and Joe Biden is destroying this country, having open reign, open borders. If you're concerned about that, as I am, it's a threat to the future of America. It's a threat to our country.
And the other thing is we have a concerted effort by the highest authority in the land, that's the Oval Office, and the administration, to give these people work permits immediately. Beside all the other stipends that they're giving them. And we've talked about New York and California actually writing checks. Illinois, $10,000.
Well, if you go back a few years ago when I was in the legislature in the House, well, the Obama administration was doing something similar to what Biden's doing, but it wasn't nearly as bad. Actually, it was awful back then, but now what Biden's doing seems so much worse. We had a state bill. We had a piece of legislation that I was chairman of the committee, and we brought it forward, and we passed it to let the state law enforcement enforce some of these laws as well. It never did get off the ground. But I think, we're to the point that it looks like not only is the federal government not going to do its job and enforce our illegal immigration laws, but actually they're inviting illegal immigrants to come here to do whatever they want to do to America, and including vote. I mean, this is ridiculous. It is a threat to America. It's a threat to our food security. It's a threat to our children and grandchildren, and we better wake up, and we better reelect Donald Trump. We better elect Donald Trump. I'll be voting for him in the primary here in Mississippi. I fully endorse him. He's got my support, and that's what I'm focused on right now. We got to get some relief up there in Washington.
And it's also happening at the same time where this state, we have a problem, and I'm not sure how we're addressing this. We have a problem where we have the largest percentage of our population who could work and are not working. Mm-hmm. How do we address that? What are we doing in this legislative session as a former legislator? And you understand this. Mm-hmm. What are we doing? I mean, this whole narrative of Medicaid expansion, to me, is attached to that question. How do you do both of those things and not exacerbate the problem? Somewhere down the line, these legislators better figure that out.
Yeah, workforce is critical. I agree with the lieutenant governor. He wrote an article that workforce participation is our number one issue. That is, yes. I agree with that. The issue is how we do it. How do we motivate these young people to work? We could have all the programs in the world, but if they don't want to go to work, we're not doing any good. I wrote a follow-up to that agriculture actually has a built-in workforce development component called 4-H and FFA. It's an existing pipeline of lots of young people all over this state who love to work, who want to work. We need to tap into them and make sure they decide to have these careers in Mississippi. That's our future leaders right there.
Governor of Arkansas has it right when she basically said it's a bit of tough love, that if you can work and you want this from other people who are working in tax dollars or tax subsidies, you go to work. If you don't, you don't get it.
Bingo.
If you can work, you got to work. Bingo.
I love that. I love Governor Sanders, Huckabee yes. Sanders, and her policies, and I'm proud of what she's doing. That's the kind of thing we got to do in Mississippi.
When you guys do post that as far as the 153 acres and
yeah.
that big plan, let us know. We'd be glad to give you a little shout-out on that one.
I'll make sure you get a copy, and everybody will be invited to be a part.
You are always welcome. I'm thrown off this one this morning a little bit because you didn't have your hat on, but I'll get used to it.
Right here.
Oh, there it is.
So,
thank you, Andy.
hats
Appreciate
off to y'all.